Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Tasin, and in this video I will be telling you 5 ways people become rich. Note the title of this video. I'm not talking about quick ways to make money. So this isn't about 5 ways to make money. And before I begin the video, let me also make it clear that life is not all about money. Yeah, money brings comfort, but there are other things important in life. For example, happiness, and other things which money cannot buy. But yeah, this video is about 5 ways people become rich. So let me start off by the first way that people become rich all the time. And yes, let me break it down to you. The first way is the family route. People become rich by inheritance. Yeah, that might come as a surprise or a not so surprise to you. Yeah, if you're born to rich parents, not necessarily, but there is a high percentage that you would get rich by inheritance. Another natural way is to marry a rich spouse. Yeah, get married to a rich spouse. But let's be honest, yeah, that is not always feasible because yeah, why would somebody from a different socio-economic background marry somebody from a different socio-economic background? And personally, I would not recommend that because the people that I have talked to, there is a lot of uh, you know problems that arise. Basically, the person with a lower socio-economic background who is marrying up trades his or her freedom in decision making or other aspects of life just to have that comfort of money. So yeah, naturally the first route is through the family route. And yeah, do not really get excited by this because even people who are born rich, born into rich families, the average age of inheritance, at least in the US, it is 60 years. So until and unless you are willing to wait your almost 60 years of your life to inherit wealth, this is not a very good way of getting rich. Now, the second way or the second route to get rich is the excellence route. Yeah, I call it the excellence route. What is this excellence route? So this is basically, going to an excellent school, university, whatever you call it, based on where you're based, going to doing the best job, yeah, and getting the best promotions to get to where you are. So maybe, for an example, something like, let's say if you're based in the US, you go to something like Harvard for a top program such as, I don't know, computer science, mathematics, or law. And then you get your first job at Goldman Sachs or something like in consulting, for example, in yeah, McKinsey, Bain, Boston Consulting Group. And then you work your way up, get the best promotions, in and out, obviously. So, and you become partner and you remain partner for another 15 years. So, yeah, that is another route of making or getting rich. But as you see, it is a very sharp filter, and yeah, there are very few people that make it to that. Now, the third way or the third route of getting rich is basically a 4-step process. Yeah, the first step is having some education, right? It doesn't have to be from a tier 1 university. It could be from a tier 2 or tier 3 university. I've seen it all the time. You should have some experience in the field that you want to basically develop yourself in, and you should have what is known as street smartness. So you should be a hustler. And then basically the fourth step would be you go and do entrepreneurship. So for example, this route would be something like, let's say, somebody who went to a university for a, let's say, I don't know, a history degree, and then ends up, starts as a waiter and works his way up, gets some work experience, understands the market, what sells, what doesn't, um, basically learns everything about the restaurant business, how to get the licenses, um, which location has the most customers, and then basically goes, saves some money, and starts his or her own restaurant. And then basically, yeah, it happens all the time. They become tycoons, owning multiple restaurants, multiple hotels, and a lot of time you see they start from the operational part, so from the very bottom. So yeah, that's the third step, which is a four-step process. The fourth step of getting rich is investing and risk taking. Yeah. So basically, something like, that you must have heard about people who borrow money to buy real estate, and then they leverage the money of the bank. They basically sell that property and then buy some other properties with some more leverage. And this is a very risky business, because if you see, as you see, you might end up losing everything and becoming bankrupt. But this is a way. This was just an example. There are people who are doing, stock trading, day trading, which is something that I do not recommend. And mind you, just for a disclaimer, I am not giving any financial advice here, because I'm not a licensed financial consultant. So this is just a YouTuber, a normal YouTuber, who's talking about how people end up becoming rich after having talked and interacted with a few people. Yeah. Um, well, just to make it clear, obviously the investing and the risk taking route is not available to everybody and anybody who does not have any savings. So you need some amount of money to basically start investing. Yeah, investing in real estate, stocks, or you name it. And the fifth and the last legitimate way that I think people become rich is by becoming a salesperson. Yeah. So, mind you, I'm not talking about salesmen, everyday salesmen. What I am talking about is high value, high ticket sales. High value, high ticket sales. So what I mean by this is, let's say somebody who is for example, a real estate salesman. Yeah, he does a deal for let's say two, 200 million euros and gets a cut. Or let's say somebody who does the chartered flight sales business, who is in this business, luxury goods business, for example, preparing and designing dresses for um, statesmen, for celebrities. There are a lot of people who make a fortune doing that. Then some other kind of sales would be, for example, somebody in the yacht business. Yeah, basically B2B sales. Yeah, B2B sales. Somebody who is very good and understands the psychology of people and is very good in B2B sales. People who basically also, for example, sell medical equipments. Yeah, medical equipments, if you do know or you do not know, are very expensive. For example, Siemens, a German company, it manufactures medical equipment such as MRI technology, yeah, magnetic resonance imaging, I believe it's called, technology. So basically, you go for those CT scans, X-rays, all these machines. They are pretty expensive. And then there are specialized salespeople who go around and find customers and sell them and convince them and get the deal done. So this is the kind of high value, high ticket sales that I'm talking about. And these are some 5 ways that I think people end up becoming rich. Mind you, there are other ways. Life is not always predictable, but this is what I have observed a lot. This is like one of the patterns that I have seen of people entering that, getting the rich, uh, entering the rich arena. So by rich, I would say something, let's say if you're based in Europe, over £1 million net worth, or €1 million net worth, or let's say if you're based in the US, yeah, you can basically decide. You can basically find out the equivalent, right? So obviously there is also a mixture possible. I know of people who started in the excellence route, so they went to the best colleges, had that cream job, but they ended up quitting all of that and went into sales, becoming yeah, entrepreneurs. So that always happens. So yeah, these are 5 ways that I think people legitimately become rich. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. It would really help the algorithm. And yeah, do leave your comments and tell me of other ways you know of how people end up, legitimately getting rich. So with that, I would sign out, and bye.